Hey friends, my name is Jordan. I'm a missionary here in Pristina, Kosovo, and I'm with my dear friend Brett from Deepen Ministries, and I wanted to share a conversation we've been having for the last couple of years since we met.
Yep.
So that has been around the care and the support of missionaries. There's lots of good ways to care for missionaries. Obviously, to send financial support. Every missionary needs that. Anybody in ministry knows that's essential to keeping the missionaries on the field. And then that would mean nothing if there wasn't prayer for that missionary, advocacy for what they're doing, and the support just goes into sending them, texts and calls. Like all that's essential and valuable. But there's really nothing that touches coming and visiting a missionary in person. Especially when you come to visit that person with intention to care for their soul and to shepherd their soul and disciple them. And that's something that you have done for us and our family for the last couple of years, and our team and the people here in Kosovo, and it's been invaluable. Like you literally can't put a price tag on it. I mean that in all seriousness of our family would not be where we're at today if we didn't have you and others that have come and pushed us forward and cried with us and laughed with us and spent many hours on the couch.
Yep.
So yeah, church, continue to support Brett and what he's doing because this is needed and it's valuable.
Well, I'll never forget that in one of our first or second conversations, you had said nothing matters as much as somebody who comes and sits with us in person, face to face. But also you said then nothing matters even more than that when they come back again and again. And so I've taken that to heart.
Yeah,
it's also really easy because I love you guys and we've connected, become friends. But it's intentional on my part that I come back. That's why this is my third time to be here. It's why I spent 6 weeks here,
That's huge,
last year, and try to do that everywhere because now it's just natural.
Yeah, it is.
That's just our relationship.
I have missionary friends here that have been on the field 5 or 10 years, and no one has come visit them. We've been actually blessed that we have had our local church that sent us, and people have visited and cared for us. But we have a large ministry here and a lot of people connected here.
Yeah.
And we have a coffee shop here in Pristina, Kosovo that has staff and missionaries attached to it, and you've helped come and care for all of them. So when you do that, you're also lifting weight off my back and it's just been a huge, huge blessing. And there's nothing, like you said, there's nothing that matters more than the return visits. You're in our coffee shop, work chat.
I'm in the chat.
When we need new beans or when the machine's broken.
I know it all.
And that
I'm back in the States and I'm seeing what's happening back here.
That's rare. That's unique.
Yeah.
And I don't think because of time and ability, not a lot of people can do that. But God has freed you up for that, and it's been beautiful. And you've been able to not just do that here in Kosovo, but elsewhere this year. I mean, where have you been in the last?
Yeah. So just before this, I was in 3 different places in Spain, Scotland before that. Going to Switzerland tomorrow, and then
that's what he thinks. Right.
Unless you steal my passport, and then France after that before going back to the States. And I view all of these as long term. That I return to over and over again.
I think what's unique about you is you get the reality that just sending somebody on the field as the same as putting someone in the pastorate is not the end of the job. I think a lot of people view it's a lot to get a missionary on the field, to get them fully supported. That is a lot, and that's essential, obviously. But that's kind of where it begins. I don't know what your perception is of missionaries, but we're messy people. I'm just like you, and I have all the same failures and same needs that when I was back in the States. There's no transformation in the transportation. We say as you come here, you don't become. Matter of fact, I think the enemy attacks harder.
Absolutely.
And it seems
100%.
From what I've seen, whether it be here in Southeast Asia where we were at before, that's when it seems like the church kind of backs off a little bit. Just because it's hard. There's no judgment or blame on the church. It's just really hard to care for people thousands of miles away. We left our church, distance-wise. That's hard to then put the burden of care on them. But God has freed you up to do that.
And one reason to me also that's so important to come in person is I think this is hard for people in the States to grasp. But when you are thousands of miles away from your family, from your kids' grandparents, from your church home, you're sending church, it's just hard. Life is hard anyway when you're just living normal life, at home where you're used to. But you put yourself in a different culture where you don't speak the language or you're learning the language. Everything's different. That wears on you. And then when the enemy also has a target on your back, And because you're doing God's work, it's like you need other people to come around you. And that's what I love to do. And I mean, that's why
clearly gifted in it. Like God has blessed you this season to do that.
And I know, I don't know if you know what it always looks like, but a lot of times it looks like it's in the midst of just the craziness of missionary life. Kids running around, making dinner, and then staying up till 2 a.m, talking in the living room, once the kids are in bed, or at the coffee shop in between meetings with people, Bible studies, discipleship with staff. That's what it looks like.
And maybe to encourage you a little further, like I think when people think of coming and supporting missionaries, they think, okay, I got to join in the evangelism they're doing. They got to join in the, in the coffee shop and be a barista. Well, there's places for that, and that is valuable. Oftentimes the most value to Jenny and I, just speaking from us personally, is just somebody comes in our living room and be able to be okay with our kids jumping all over you and just talking late at night. Those things, that again is invaluable. So don't, discount the work that maybe you're doing in your church or what Brett's doing just because it isn't directly walking the gospel forward, say, in the street. I mean, you do that too.
Sure.
But I think a lot of people think, okay,
but that's not my focus.
I'm going to go help a missionary. I got to go share the gospel in the streets. We'll do that. Like that's what God has called us. We love doing that. But sometimes I just need someone to cry to.
Absolutely.
And that's that's what you provide that I don't get other places. So thank you. And thank you guys for sending someone like Brett and supporting Deepen Ministries. Continue to keep this guy on the field because he is pushing the gospel forward by pushing us forward and many others. So
thank you guys. Love y'all.
God bless. Bye.